I would be remiss before moving into this chapter if I left out one little part of the last chapter. You see, in the Clinton strategy to win, and while they're still in phase one, which is clearing the road, they have an added bonus. They were given a gift. And believe it or not, folks, it was Hurricane Katrina. You say, well, now how can that be a gift? The Clintons know, or at least they believe, or at least they have to convince Hillary that they have to win Ohio. You see, at the end of the last race between President Bush and John Kerry, there was a visual that was incredibly graphic. And that, of course, was the red and blue states. But the Clintons know there's never been, to my knowledge, to their knowledge, a president that has ever won that did not carry Ohio. So if you're thinking, well, how are the Clintons going to affect that? They're working now. And they took a gimme. They took a natural disaster and are turning it into a very effective tool. What's that tool? The refugees. The refugees from New Orleans. Look how those refugees are placed throughout the country. And most agree that when and if there is an election, that they will vote Democratic. So, folks, they have placed people, enough votes in each state to carry the election of the refugees out of New Orleans. And you'd say, well, but that's pretty complex and that's pretty slick thinking. Folks, let me tell you, you do not understand the three-dimensional offense. It is very complete. It is very slick. And it deals with things at a level when nobody else is looking. Just like I told you, all of a sudden, out of the blue, Tom DeLay, Karl Rove, Scooter Libby, indicted. But you see, they're indicted now, not during the race. No aspersions can be cast against the Clintons because they're not even running. But folks, you better believe much of what is going on today with Fitzgerald, with the prosecutor in Texas, with the Arizona, New Mexico crisis about illegal aliens, all of that stuff is working strategically, tactically, to place Hillary in a winning position. But the title of this chapter is The Plan, Part B. You see, Part B is a very tough part of the three-dimensional offense. It's the second phase. And that's where you go around. We had a title for it, Kill Them While They're Young. That means we go around and we find anybody that might have any information that could damage Hillary. You ascertain whether they're going to keep that information forever or whether they might be subject to using it. And generally, it's the latter. You always assume if they know something, somebody will get to them and they'll use it. So the Clintons are now in a process to where they're going around to people that used to work for them, people that knew them, people that knew her when she was a child. And if they've got anything detrimental that can come out in this campaign, those people are going to be destroyed. Destroyed. All of a sudden, their business is going to take a nosedive. All of a sudden, they're going to be prosecuted, accused of embezzling, accused of a million different things. Again, the beauty of the three-dimensional offense is that it's happening now. Who could figure? Go figure. Nobody's going to say, well, Hillary's got her henchmen out there and they're picking up people and having police arrest them, developing scams. Let me ask you this. And this is done by the Clintons, and it's hard for people to understand, but last night I was on a program and it was brought up, so I think it's a good example. Let's say I rob you. I come into your home, steal your wallet. Well, the next day, before you notice your wallet is stolen, all of a sudden the police are knocking on your door. Now, I stole your wallet, but you know what I'm going to do? The minute I get home, I'm going to call the police and say, you stole my wallet. So when the police come to visit you and they say you're being charged with stealing a wallet, you're going to go, wait a minute, I didn't steal the wallet. He stole mine. And the police are going to go, oh yeah, sure. You see, they know, being lawyers, what most criminals say when they're arrested. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. So you understand the simplicity behind setting somebody up. And of course, if you're the unfortunate one that was arrested for being accused of stealing a wallet, well, you're guilty. You're guilty. And if you start to rear your head during the campaign, the Clinton spin team, in cooperation with the media, will say he's not credible. He's a wallet thief. And folks, it ends there. Now, many a person in the last race when Bill Clinton was running the first time, many a person got worse than just being arrested or just being destroyed. Some aren't here today. Now, here again, I can't say anything I can't prove in a court of law, but I will tell you that there was an unnatural phenomenon that took place with Bill Clinton. More people died in his administration. People around them died left and right. They were dropping like flies, just like Vince Foster, in really peculiar, unexplained, don't make sense deaths. I promise you this. A second Clinton administration is going to start all over again. Here we've got George Bush in the middle of a war, on terrorism. And can you believe, check it out, people around him haven't died. But every time the Clintons come to power, people around them, acquaintances, people that have relationships, they start dropping like flies. So to all those that worked for Hillary in the White House during Clinton's first terms, for all of those that knew her when she was growing up, for all of the lesbians that might want to come out and go public, beware. Be careful. Because these people will get you in phase 2. And again, it's happening in phase 2. Nobody knows the wiser. You can't blame it on them. You can't pin it on them. But just people that are important, that could have a bearing on the race, no matter how large or small, if they could just have a bearing, they're going to end up destroyed, or worse. And when and if they do come out, they're not going to be credible. So that takes us to the first phase 1. We see that's the easiest. Phase 1's running the race. But if you've done the other 2 phases, if you've cleared the road, make sure that everything you need to be in place for your race is in place. And if you've gone through phase 2 and made sure anybody that could come out and be detrimental to you has been taken care of, then the actual race is academic. And that brings up a word, academic. You see, under a Clinton administration, in a Clinton campaign, under the 3-dimensional offense, everything's academic. Don't mean nothing. It's not personal. It's just winning. And the Clintons know better than anybody on earth that winning the race is what it's about. Promise anything. Say anything. Say the opposite things to different groups. It doesn't matter. Because you can't do anything unless you win the race. So now, you've got Hillary in Congress, in the Senate. Her voting record is absolutely untarnished. It's perfect for a centrist. They've gone, identified the two leading people in the Republican Party that could rise and hurt them. They've gone in Ohio, and they're rigging the vote right now, making sure it becomes a Democratic state using refugees. They've gone to Texas, making sure in New Mexico and Arizona that you drive the illegal Mexicans up into Texas, which then when they get a driver's license are eligible to vote, whether they do or not, mind you. All of a sudden, Texas is hers. I mean, don't you see the sophistication here? And the question is, who's going to reveal it? Who's going to investigate them? Because they can sit back right now and say, hey, it's not me. Who's going to know this former employee or this former classmate of Hillary that all of a sudden just falls in the middle of incredible legal and financial trouble? They'll say it has nothing to do with them. And then, what about the Republicans? Where are they? Well, to show you how sophisticated the system is. After all, Tom DeLay, the leading finance fundraising guy for the Republicans, he's been ambushed. Republicans couldn't stop it. Karl Rove, Scooter Libby, all that stuff, it's just a brewing. Still going to be something. Rove's not out of it yet, but he'll sure have to keep his head down. And the Republicans can't stop it. To find a candidate to run against Hillary, it's too late. It's too late. The Republicans have got people that, they think they're going to run. And 1 year before the presidential election, they'll start moving around trying to win the primary. Well, the Clintons know what I know. And I'm going to tell you. If you want to go to Las Vegas and you want to bet who wins the primaries for either party, bet on this. He or she that has the most money in a primary always wins. That's how you can know who's going to be the presidential candidate for the Republicans, who's going to be the presidential candidate for the Democrats. And without going into any detail of much, I think you can safely see that Hillary financially is in the driver's seat. But again, it's not because of today. They have been working for years, putting people in place, getting connections with companies, getting the rich guys to play ball with them, promising them, of course, that when and if she wins, she'll take care of them. They have enough money right now, or lined up right now, to run the race in 2008. You say, but she's got to run that senatorial race in 2006. Let me tell you, they're manipulating that race just as sure as I'm sitting here, using the three-dimensional offense. Matter of fact, the woman Pirro that they've got in that race, do you not find it incredible that the one attack somebody could use against Hillary is Bill and his shenanigans and all of the shame brought when he was president? And out of this pack of Republicans comes one, Pirro. And she's got a husband that's done jail time. So you see, the two cancel each other. Can't talk about Bill because she'll talk about Pirro. Now, what's going to actually happen to Miss Pirro running against Hillary? The media is going to talk about your husband anyway. Trust me, you're going to get roasted. And you're going to play the game of trying to make Hillary say whether or not she will serve as the Senate. Well, let me take you back to another time. You see, prior to Bill Clinton running for president the first time, he had one more gubernatorial race. And I set him up at a debate in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Had a reporter go to him. I knew he was going to run for president. Everybody did. And I had a reporter go to Bill Clinton in the middle of that debate and say, Governor Clinton, if you win governor, how can the people of Arkansas be assured that you'll serve out your full term and not just leave and run for president? And Bill Clinton, most of you've seen videos of this, stands up on that stage and waves his finger. He said, well, the only one talking about me running for president are you guys. I just want to serve as governor. That was in November. He won. January of the next year, he left the state never to be seen again. As a matter of fact, I almost got him. He had left the state and had gone so long. In Arkansas, there's a law that if a governor is out of his job for over 360-something days, then he can be removed from office. So I filed a suit because he was coming up on the day he was fixing to be out of a job. And you know what he did? See, the problem was I had to file the suit. And in filing the suit, they knew what I was doing. He went to Memphis, Tennessee, drove across the bridge from Memphis into West Memphis, Arkansas, stayed there 45 minutes with the acting governor, Lieutenant Governor Jim Guy Tucker, who, by the way, ended up going to jail. He was there 45 minutes, then left, which started the clock all over again. So, for those of you in New York, and Ms. Pirro, let me assure you, even if Hillary were to answer that question, she's not under oath. She can tell you anything she wants to. And she will. Now, likely as not, she'll not even answer the question. And your whole campaign is based off that. Which means you are playing the three-dimensional offense game. You can't win. They're not even going to feel you. They're not even going to notice you're in the race. Because you have nothing substantive to bring to the campaign. Sorry about taking time out of this book to talk to Ms. Pirro. But I think it important that every one of you know how sinister, how slick, how automatic all of this is. If you know the system and you understand the laws and the rules, it's academic to victory. And so I tell you all, get ready. We've got a battle on our hands. Hillary's going to win in the Senate. She's going to keep her voting record pure. Will you say, but now why is Hillary so quiet with all of this stuff about Karl Rove and Scooter Libby? Guys, there's another rule in politics. Not invented by us with the three-dimensional. This has just been a rule in politics. Never get in the way of your opponent destroying himself. So with all that's happening, with the war in Iraq not going very well, with the price of oil this summer, the price of gas in the homes or the heating oil, heating fuel, it's going to be so high that people are going to suffer. And I say this to you right now. When Hillary gets in the race for president, she's going to use a line. Number one, she's going to be a centrist. Not a Democrat, not a liberal, not a conservative, not a Republican. She's going to be a centrist. And she's going to say, are you better off now, after 2 terms of a Bush administration, than you were with 2 terms of a Clinton administration? And folks, that wins the race. And they know it.